y'all, it's Ann from What's Up Family Home, and today I have another week of What's for Dinners for you. And this one is a special one because I am doing a collab with my friend Valerie at Life with Valerie Rose. And she is the sweetest person, so I know you'll love her and her channel. And I will have her channel and her video linked down below. So make sure you go to her channel and like and subscribe and let her know that Ann sent you. And if you're coming from her channel, I just wanted to say hey and welcome. My name is Ann, and I would love for you to join my YouTube family if you like videos like this. I know you're going to love these What's for Dinners we had this week because we really loved them. Great recipes, and I'll have those recipes linked down below. But I'm trying to use everything from my freezer, my pantry, and my canning pantry. So I was very successful this week and very successful in picking some recipes that were absolutely delicious. So I'll turn you around and let's get started on these wonderful meals. All right, I'm going to start with the cheeseburger soup. This is a little bit over a pound of ground beef and onions. We just bought a half a cow. My brother-in-law raised the cow. He fed it and everything, and then he took it to the processor, and we bought half of it. So I can't wait to try this. We've tried the beef tenderloin already, and it was amazing. So hopefully this will be just as good. So I'm going to brown this up with the onion. All right, I'm going to add the celery now. Then I'm going to add the carrots and let them cook a little bit in the ground beef with the celery and the onions. And I'll just give that a few minutes to cook, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, now that this is nice and tender, I'm going to add my broth to the mixture, and I'm also going to add my potatoes. Just going to stir the potatoes around, and then I'm going to put a lid on this and let it cook 15 to 20 minutes until the potatoes are nice and softened. All right, my potatoes are tender, and now I'm going to add the cheese. I'm adding Velveeta and shredded cheese, and I'm just eyeballing it. The directions said to put in 8 ounces of Velveeta, but I use the big blocks. I use this. I usually get it from Aldi, but this time I got it from Walmart. And since this is 32 ounces, I just kind of eyeballed it. And the last recipe I used, it's been a long time ago, but I know I used shredded cheese and Velveeta, and it was so good. Now I'm going to add the cheese. Now I'm going to add the milk. And this recipe does call for sour cream, but I don't think I'm going to add it. I don't think it needs sour cream. I don't really dig a sour taste in my soup, so I'm just going to leave it like this. So I am going to let this hang out and cook and let all the flavors get married together. So I'm going to put a lid on there and let it cook for maybe about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll eat. How good does that look? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to add some cheese. I grated up some Colby and Monterey Jack. Put that on the top. And I'm going to add some green onion. Cheeseburger soup. Delicious. That's what we had for dinner tonight. Hey y'all, tonight we are going to have some Chinese food. I am kind of going by recipe and kind of not. But the recipe calls, well, whatever the recipe calls for, I'll have it linked down below so you can get the exact recipe. I am doubling it and plus adding a little bit. But it does call for apple cider vinegar, honey, chicken stock, and soy sauce and garlic. I'm adding a little bit of the Asian Zing wing sauce because I like it and I want to use some of it up. I've got this Frank's Red Hot Stinging Honey Garlic. I added some of that. I did not add any sriracha because this stuff's pretty hot, but I reserve the right to add it later. So I did add a little bit of sesame oil in here too. And I added a good bit of garlic. So I'll have the recipe down below. And I mix that up here because I like a lot of sauce. And even if I have a lot extra, which I don't think I will, I will be able to heat the food up the next day and use the sauce, because you know how dry it is when you eat it the next day. So I've got some chicken that I defrosted out of my freezer, and I'm going to dip it in the cornstarch. I didn't measure or anything, so I'm just going to mix it up with the cornstarch, and then I'm going to add it to my pan. I've got my pan ready and heated, and I've got some rice here, just some minute rice that I've already cooked, and I've got some noodles here. I'm going to try and make a type of lo mein. And also I have some cabbage here that I defrosted that I had grown in my garden, and I froze it, so I'm going to add that to the lo mein. I'm going to chop it up pretty good. I love cabbage in my lo mein, and I thought that would be perfect to use up some of that cabbage, because I got cabbage in the garden, and I'm going to be putting that in the freezer soon, so, and hopefully making some sauerkraut and stuff like that. So got my oil heated up, so I'm just going to toss my chicken in the cornstarch, and then we'll get it in the pan. This is going to go really fast. That's why I already had this already cooked. And all I've got to do is chop up that cabbage over there. All right, I did put this chicken in a bag so I could get all that coating on it. So I'm just going to put it down. Well, I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit hotter. I want to see some sizzle. So I'm going to try and see, does your pan do that? I swear this one is like raised in the middle, so everything just goes down the side. I don't know why. Putting the chicken down. It might go in 2 batches. I'm not sure. But since the oil is not going in the middle, I won't be able to put any in there, so it'll just be around the thing. So I'm going to put the chicken in and get that frying, and we'll come back. All right, y'all, I've cooked the chicken. It's nice and golden brown. I took some of that oil out of it, and I'm going to now saute some cabbage and onions in this oil for the lo mein. I've only made lo mein once. Get this over here. So, but I know, you know, what's in lo mein. I know there's carrots in there, but I just wanted a quick and easy meal, and I didn't really want to deal with carrots. So I'm just going to saute the onions and the cabbage. Alright, I added my noodles. Heat the noodles up. They sat there a while. So I think I'm going to keep my chicken separate. Can always throw them in together. So pour some of my sauce in. Which I think you might need to triple this sauce, because that's nowhere near the amount of sauce that I need. So, alrighty, I'm going to add this sauce. I'm going to cook it down, and I'm going to make some more. So I'm going to let this hang out and absorb all those flavors. It's smelling good in here, y'all. This chicken right here, I could eat it just like it is now. And it would be good like with some of that Asian zing sauce on it, or some barbecue sauce, or some buffalo wing sauce. That'd be good too. So I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to make up another sauce, and then we'll be ready to eat. Okay, y'all, I might have found my perfect recipe for Chinese food. This is amazing. That sauce, all I did was put a little bit of cornstarch in that sauce because it was not thick. But as soon as I did that and covered it with that chicken, oh my goodness, y'all, this is delicious. If you just combine soy sauce, chicken broth, that Asian zing sauce, vinegar, and honey, it just transforms anything you make. And that's all I did. I used the same thing. I did add sesame oil, but I didn't really care for that. But it's in this, but oh my goodness, y'all, have got to try this recipe. You need to triple the recipe, but this is amazing. So I've got my lo mein here, and it's ready. I've got my rice there. I just made white rice, and I thought I needed a vegetable with it, so I steamed some broccoli. So now I'm going to eat. And I have never had good luck with making Chinese food, and my luck has changed, I think. So I'm gonna make my plate and I'm gonna eat. All right, y'all, here's my plate. I had to make more sauce because I needed some to go over my rice. So you need to probably at least quadruple it like I did. So, but I am gonna keep this recipe for sure. It was delicious. I've already tried it, and this is Doug's plate. Doug's not feeling good, so I'm gonna bring him his plate. But look at this, it is so good. I cannot wait to make this again. I will put some more vegetables in there. It's kind of just bland with just the cabbage and the onions, but it's so good. So I hope you guys try it. Let me know if you do. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight. All right, hey y'all, tonight is another dinner, and tonight I want to try this recipe called smothered pork chops. I'm going to kind of go by the recipe, kind of not, but in this pan I have some avocado oil that I'm heating up, and I'm going to put some onions in here, and I'm going to kind of caramelize the onions, get them nice and browned, and then I'm going to kind of make a gravy. I'm using a Chef John recipe. You've probably heard of Chef John. If you haven't, if you're not on YouTube a lot, but he does a lot of, well, he does food videos, and he's got millions and millions of subscribers, and I really enjoy his recipes. So right now I'm going to just saute these and get them nice and dark, and I'm not going to put any salt in there or anything. That way the salt would draw out the moisture. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to let these cook and hang out. I'm not going to try and cook them too fast. I've got some potatoes here that I need to use up. I usually use just instant mashed potatoes because it's quick and easy. And those ones we use are really good, the Idaho one. But I've got to use those up. They're already starting to sprout. And I also got these pork chops from the freezer. I just cut these. These are a pork loin that I bought, and I just cut them into pork chops. And I just put them in some warm water and let them thaw out. So I'm just laying them on a paper towel and let them get the moisture on there. And then I'll brown these chops up and I'll put them in the onion gravy, basically. So I'm going to let these caramelize, and I'll come back. Okay, I've got my onions here caramelized. I took them out of the pan. Now my pan is really, really hot. I have got a stove that, if it could be on 2, it's going to be boiling something. So you just got to watch out. So I've got my pork chops here. I've got them salt, peppered, and onion powdered. And I'm going to add them to the pan. And I'm just going to brown these. Oh, I put that on the wrong end because I got to salt and pepper this end. But I've got salt, pepper, and onion powder. And I'm going to put them in the pan here, that side down. And I'm going to put the seasoning on the other side. Put my pan back. And I'm going to brown these on both sides. And I'm just going to salt, pepper, and onion powder the other side. Okay, I browned my pork chops. I took them out of the oil. And now I'm going to add a heaping tablespoon of oil. A heaping tablespoon of flour. I don't even talk. You want the same amount of oil as you have flour. So if you had a tablespoon of oil in here, you need a tablespoon of flour. And I just eyeball it because I hate to measure. And I'm just going to let this hang out and cook out all that flour taste. And then I'm going to add some chicken broth. So let me go get that while that one's hanging out. I also added in the juices that came off the pork chops. And they're not done yet. They're just brown, but they're not all the way done yet. The pork chops. So I'm just going to pour this chicken broth in. I will have the recipe linked below so you can follow it exactly. But I'm just going to let this hang out. I'm just going to let this cook until it comes together. I'm going to wait till it thickens up. And then I'll put my pork chops in. Hey, y'all, does that not look good? Smells as good as it looks. So I'm just going to add the pork chops back in because they're not cooked all the way. I'm working on my potatoes. I've just mixed them up with a mixer. Do you use a hand mixer or do you mash yours by hand? I usually mash it by hand. Thought I'd get some help tonight and use a mixer. And I use milk and butter and just salt and pepper, but I don't know if you know it, but they say to warm up your milk. So I always warm up my milk before I put it in there because they say it makes it gummy if you put cold milk in there or whatever you use. So I don't know if you ever heard that, but I always do that. But all right, I've got my potatoes mixed up, just butter, salt, just butter and salt basically. I've got my corn over here. I've just made corn tonight because it's late. It's 7:41, so we want to eat tonight. So I've got my pork chops. Look at these things. Look at all that good onion gravy on there. Just looks delicious. So that's why, one of the reasons why I made mashed potatoes, because I like it with gravy. And Chef John on that video used rice. I don't like rice with this, so I am going to make my plate and we're going to eat. This is my kind of meal. You just have to have this together. It's just like giving you a hug. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. All these meals I would definitely make again. So delicious. That soup was amazing. It never disappoints. And those pork chops were so good. I always tend to make the same kind of things over and over, but these were things that I normally don't make, especially the pork chops. I've never made that before, but it was so good. So I hope you enjoyed them. Be sure to check out Valerie's channel. Be sure to like and subscribe to her channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.